Hello there, welcome back. This is episode 10 of Say More. Today we are diving back into my catalog, and this time we're in the year of 2019, where I had another cover of one of my favorite jazz artists and singers of all time, Billie Holiday. So I don't want to do too much talking because I'm really excited to get into this one. And right off the bat, I'll let you know that at the time that this was recorded, I was doing sort of a deep dive into her catalog, the Billie Holiday songbook. And so if you're familiar with the songbook, then you are most certainly familiar with What a Little Moonlight Can Do. This is my version called Moonlight. Let's listen.
Seem to utter that poor tongue. Here I stand, softly as the moonbeam peeping through. Here I am, to see what a little moonlight can do. What a little moonlight can do to me, dear. Whoa, see what a little moonlight can do.
Nice. Short and sweet one. That again was the Honeychile cover of What a Little Moonlight Can Do, a song that was written in 1934 by Harry M. Woods, and a year later was sung, and I would say, I think a lot of us would agree, popularized by Miss Billie Holiday in 1935. Okay, so thinking back to at the time this was recorded, I was still working a lot with Jay Rich. You've heard his name several times now. We are still in the basement studio space that was in North Philly at the time. And like I mentioned, I've always been really interested in sort of the jazz divas, the Ella Fitzgeralds, Sarah Vaughan's, Abby Lincoln's, Billie Holiday's, Nina Simone's. The list goes on and on and on. But there's something about wanting to do some covers at this time in 2019, and What a Little Moonlight Can Do. I knew I wanted to do a Billie Holiday cover. And I didn't want it to be My Man. I just put out the song My Man, which we covered in an earlier episode of Say More. So the other song that I remember listening to from a really early age from the Billie Holiday songbook was What a Little Moonlight Can Do. Now, if you're familiar with the song, and there are many iterations of it, but if you're familiar with probably those popular version of the song, you know that it's very like upbeat. It's got that trumpet in the beginning. It drives in a really, really nice way. So I really wanted to experiment with smoothing out the song a little bit. And in this version of it, I don't touch on the verses too much. So you hear me singing with some really heavy reverb and playing trumpet. I'm also playing keys. The bass line I play is just like a regular kind of MIDI bass. Nothing too special there. But the things that I really enjoy revisiting this, and again, this was released on SoundCloud in 2019. This is the first time I've listened to it in a long time. I really enjoy the ways I just really smoothed it out. It kept it really simple. That's kind of my MO. I tend to keep things pretty simple when it comes to arrangement and instrumentation. But what I really also enjoy about this are just the elements. Like there's a little bit of like a vinyl effect in both the trumpet playing toward the end and in my vocals that gives it that kind of like 1930s, 1940s radio feel. I enjoy doing that a lot. Jay helped me a significant amount when it came to just like the mixing and the EQing of this. And at this time, as you've heard from other videos, this was most certainly the time where I was getting used to being at the helm of a recording studio space. So learning the ropes from Jay and from other friends and collaborators and peers of mine around, how to record yourself, how to mix yourself, all that good stuff that I am still very much learning. So there's not much more I want to say on this episode 10, but I do want to just say really quickly that, the works of like the jazz divas that I named beforehand, there's just so much to learn there. And I think if I'm pulling out Billie Holiday as an example, she's somebody that I learned what it means to have a very distinctive voice. She was someone that had a really hard personal life, and there were certainly some lessons that I took from her personal life, her relationships, her relationship just to being an activist. I don't know if she would have called herself that, but certainly in the era where Strange Fruit came about and she was singing this basically anti-lynching ballad, she made a lot of enemies with the United States. And there was something about that story and her hearing the importance of her wanting to continue to travel the United States and then, of course, traveling Europe and internationally. And in some cases, having this song be the case for her arrest or having the song be the case for, folks barring her from certain institutions, certain stages, but her continuing to want to spread that message. At a young age, we're talking probably like elementary school, like middle school, Honeychile. I really, I thought that was something that really stuck with me. Just the idea of the power of music and the power of lyrics and song and what it can do to audiences as far as telling a story. And also as far as, wanting to not bury this really hard narrative, this really hard history. So I'm not saying necessarily that I followed in those footsteps. I certainly, take a lot of inspiration from that, from Billie Holiday. And, I carry that with me to this day. So I want to just cap off this episode, this short episode 10 of Say More, with that. Because I think just in the spirit of this series, it is really important to be able to look back at my influences. And I encourage all creatives to take a moment to look back at our influences, pull out stories, pull out the why. I think the why is really important. And that is part of the why of me wanting to cover What a Little Moonlight Can Do, and kind of smooth it out, very Honey style. And then being able to continue the legacy and the spirit of one of my idols, whose birthday, by the way, I'm filming this, it is April 4th. And her birthday will be April 7th. And so it's really nice that I'm able to reflect on her legacy and her music. And then, 3 days from now, getting to celebrate her birthday. So I will leave it at that. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back next week for another episode of Say More. And I'll see you soon. Bye.